Thank you to the founders of 1M1B, Manav and Swati Subodh, Mr. Robert Skinner, Mr. Wook-Ting Chang, the changemakers who have come from India. A big welcome to all of you, and all other guests who are coming here from India. A big welcome to all of you. When I was invited to be part of this program and to speak, and I realized the focus would also be on the climate crisis and the 1.5 degree goal. It set me thinking. As change makers, all of you have made significant innovations, taken initiatives, and contributed in your own communities, in your educational institutions, and in your own circle to bringing about purposeful change. We have always believed, and our civilizational dictum has been Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, the whole world is one family. We are part of this family, and what happens to us has an impact on others and the environment, and vice versa. With this in view, our Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, when he went to the COP summit at Glasgow, clearly enunciated and committed India to be part of the solution, though we are not part of the problem. As change makers, you have made an impact at your communities. But do remember, at a global level, what we also strive for is climate justice and climate equity. Developing countries, and India included, have not been part of the problem. Yet, we are part of the solution. We are committed to contributing to meeting the commitments that we have made. We have already reached 180 gigawatts of renewable energy and will move towards 500 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030. We are committed to taking our economy on a less intensive carbon path. We have just had a COP summit in Baku. The results have been underwhelming in terms of financing that is required to help developing countries meet their targets and to fashion pathways for carbon neutrality in their own economies and in their countries. Yet, India is firmly a part of the solution and remains committed to green energy transition. You should also realize that when Prime Minister Modi made the call for life or lifestyle for environment as a movement within India last year, it was premised precisely on what you're doing. That climate activities are not something, or combating climate change is not something that is done by someone else out there. But these are a set of activities that we incorporate into our lifestyle and be the change that we want to see. Very much on the lines of a reference that Manav Subodh made of Mahatma Gandhi being the true change maker. You have to be the change that you want to see, is what the Mahatma said. And each one of you in your own lives, what you can do to reduce a carbon footprint, what you can do to make changes in your lifestyle for environment, what we can do in the true spirit of a much forgotten SDG of sustainable consumption as compared to all the efforts that you see on sustainable production. Nobody focuses on sustainable consumption. Yet each lifestyle changes that we all make for sustainable consumption is truly what will lead the world towards greater sustainability. Friends, we live in a period of exciting opportunities, but also huge challenges. We have a multilateral system that is exactly not fit for purpose to face today's challenges. India continues, along with friends and partners, to call for greater reforms of the UN system, including in the Security Council, a revitalization of the UN General Assembly so that we have a United Nations that our citizens and the peoples of the world need and seek. An organization that is not stuck in the realities of 1945, but more attuned to the challenges and opportunities of today. As young citizens, you have the optimism of youth. For a country of 1.4 billion, we have a majority of our population who are young, who are less than 35 years of age. And recently, this year in September, when leaders from around the world, and our Prime Minister was here, for the Summit of the Future, they agreed on a set of actions, the Pact for the Future, which would reboot the multilateral system and the United Nations to face the challenges of the future. A huge element of this Pact for the Future has been the focus on youth. One of the annexures of this pact is the Declaration for Future Generations. It focuses on youth and on the need for countries and member states to involve young people, not only in governance, but in nation building. This is a key call of global leaders in the Pact for the Future. You young people are the future. You have to be closely working together, not only to be part of the governance of the country, but also as part of our development pathways, and enabling a green energy transition, meeting our sustainable development goals, meeting our 2030 targets. In each one of these activities, your dynamism, your contribution is vital. We have seen some examples of this. But as you go about this task, as you use your energy, your effort to address these tasks, please do remember, at a global level, being change makers and looking for resources to bring about change is not as simple as it is at the level of our communities, our households, and even, dare I say, at the level of our nations. It is a much more complicated task of give and take. Negotiations are held, but not always have productive outcomes. Developing countries who have the majority of the population, who do not have right now the resources and the opportunities to give full potential, to give expression to the full potential of their citizens, face huge challenges in looking for these resources. 2 years of the pandemic, and thereafter, numerous conflicts, debt crises, food, fertilizer, and fuel inflation, all of this put enormous pressures on developing countries to find the resources that are required, not only to bring about green energy transition, but to help meet the full potential of their own citizens. It is in this environment that the UN functions, to fashion solutions, to look for solutions for today's problems, to look for solutions for the development problems that the world faces, to worry and find solutions for issues of international peace and security. And as you, as young people, deal with this, you must, of course, focus on what is important in your own communities, in your households, in your educational institutions. But do remember, at a global level, the challenges are much more complex. And solutions are not simple. Resources are less forthcoming. And we live in a complex world of polycrisis where it is much, much more difficult to negotiate acceptable solutions for everybody. Yet, India remains committed to multilateralism because this is the only solution for today's problems. We work closely with all our friends and partners so that we can find acceptable solutions and find the necessary resources so that we not only face the climate crisis, we are able to find necessary finances for development for our citizens and the citizens of other developing countries who are our friends and partners. we make available our resources, our experience, and our own models of development that we have evolved, leveraging new technologies and digital platforms that have helped us jumpstart our development and forge ahead and bring the development momentum. We make this available to our friends and partners, and it has been a good journey so far. As you grow and take leadership positions in the years ahead, I wish you all success, and I wish you much greater engagement, not only with our governance in the country, not only with the development process within our country, but also with global issues, global problems, and how to fashion global solutions. Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak.